Hey, and welcome back to Love Restore. I am your favorite host, Marshaun Olaniyan. You're listening to Love Restore on KCCR, the Brownstone. Now, I help Black women to shift the way that they're showing up in their relationship, to shift their mindset, and to shift their perspective on their relationship with themselves first, and then to help that to bleed over into the relationship that they have with their partner or spouse. And one of the reasons why I created Love Restored is because you are what I find, let me say this. What I find is that when I'm working with my clients, I find that a lot of them have lost the love for themselves. Now, is it overall? No. But it is that deep emotional connection that they once had with themselves because life has been getting in the way, whether it's in the form of a relationship, whether it's in the form of the child or children, whether it's in the form of taking care of an elderly family member, whether it's in the that they are trying to build something, whether it's a career move, whether it's a business, whatever the thing is, life has gotten in the way and has taken over them. And because of that, they have yet to invest the type of love and or the amount of love that they once were giving to themselves. And so we have to restore the love that we once had for ourselves. And one of the ways that I teach my clients to do that is by really prioritizing who they are, how they are showing up, and doing the things that they used to do, that they love to do, but they have stopped doing for one reason or another, right? Especially when I'm talking to new moms. New moms have, they have their body has been taken over for almost 10 months. Now they have given birth, and now their time is not their own time, right? They are breastfeeding or pumping or, the feeding. The feeding happens whenever the baby, right? They're getting less and less sleep because of the child's sleep schedule. They are waking up in the middle of the night, right? So it's a lot of trying to readjust and figure out what this new life with this new child looks like for not only her, for her family, right? So there's a lot of giving to others, in this case, her child, right? And so we have a tendency as new moms to give, and we're giving to everybody, and we're not, no longer, I should say, giving to ourselves. At least we're not at the top of our list. And what I find most of the time is that we're not even on our list anymore. And so what I by creating Love Restored, what I would love to do is to teach women how to restore the love that they once had for themselves by continuing to make themselves a priority. And again, if you have dropped the ball, then I need for you to put yourself on your list. At the very least, be on your list. And then we can work together by creeping you up your list to make you more of a priority on your list. So you're not just giving to everyone, and you're forgetting to give to you, which is where the frustration comes from, which is where the annoyance comes from, which is where the arguments sometimes come from, because you're so tired. You have not recharged yourself. You have not reconnected to oneself. So got to slow down. Restore the love for you before you can give it away to others. Now, with that being said, we are talking today about dating. I know that we are in the series of dating, and so I want to continue to have the continuation about dating and why you must continue to date after you get into the relationship. So this is, you're past the initial dating stage, you're past the initial questions, you actually have the title of boyfriend and girlfriend, and you're slowly trying to see what your life would look like together. You're going on family outings or outings with your friends and stuff. So you're doing a lot of things together at this point. You definitely have already established a connection, which is why you decided to become boyfriend and girlfriend. With that being said, because we let life get in the way a lot of times, this is why it is so important to continue dating after the fact of getting the title and getting into the relationship. And it's just very important for us to just make sure that we're continuing to do that, because one of the things that continue to date after you get into the relationship does is it continues to nurture the connection. So you're nurturing the connection, and regular dating just really helps to solidify the fact that it can help to foster and even strengthen the emotional connection. So you continue to nurture the connection between one another, where you are able to be vulnerable with one another. You're able to just, oh, how was your day? And really listen to the other person, maybe even listening to some of the things that they're not saying and be able to ask about that, right? It's even going back to some of your previous conversations to say, hey, I remember you talked about this, wanting to talk to your boss about X, Y, and Z. How did that conversation go? And just continuing to connect with one another on that level. Another thing that continuing to date after you decide to say we're in a relationship is that this continues to build intimacy. Now, a lot of people think that intimacy is only the sex, and that is just far from the truth. But building this intimacy, really, the dating portion of it provides opportunities to explore and even deepen the emotional connection, and physical connection within the relationship. So yes, physical is a part of intimacy, but it is not the only part of intimacy. So it continues to deepen and build that connection, but as well as the intimacy connection between the two of you. Another thing that dating does after you say, yes, I'm going to be your girlfriend, or yes, I'm going to be your boyfriend, is that you continue to rediscover one another. What does that mean? It means that this person can now bring you into their world in a way that you didn't know existed. And to go further into that, what that really means is this person is able to introduce you to the parts of him or the parts of her that you had no idea about. So, like, say for instance, they're into playing the guitar. You had no idea because that's not a conversation that ever has come up. But because you are now boyfriend and girlfriend, and you're starting to do more and more things together, and you're really starting to see who this person truly is, now they're able to introduce some of the things that you're not necessarily compatible on. This is their thing. This is what makes them shine. This is what makes them look sexy to you. And so now they're able to show up in a way and impart information to you that you can now experience through them or support them in a different way, right? So it continues to keep the connection alive and again, deepen the intimacy. But literally, you're rediscovering or just discovering who this person is. Like I just brought up the guitar lesson, but it could be that you love to go hiking and maybe you brought that up, but they didn't realize how embedded hiking is into you and just being out in nature. And so now you can bring this part of you to the party for them to also say, I enjoyed that. Like, how long have you been into fitness? Like, I didn't know that you were this into fitness. How long have you been hiking? And then again, just to go deeper into that person, understanding who he or she is, and really just like, okay, okay. So, and the more that you do this, the more that you discover one another or even rediscover each other, the more you can make an intelligent decision about if this person is a good fit for your life and not just for this moment. Like, is this person really a great fit for you? Right. So that is something that is that happens during the dating process and continuing to date after you're in a relationship. Another thing that it does is it keeps the spark alive, right? Regular date nights can reignite the romance and passion in long-term relationships. Again, as I just brought up, we have a tendency to allow life to get in the way, and we have a tendency to just keep doing things that's just sucking up our time. That's just sucking up our time and our energy, and we're not really getting down to what we actually need, right? So keeping the spark alive, regular date nights have been known to keep the intimacy, the spark, the connection in long-term relationships. So that's definitely something that happens and something that you need to be aware of so you can continue doing it once you get into this relationship. And so the dullness can stay away instead of making it such a mundane every day this is what we do, where like literally you are really reliving the same day over and over again. This helps to ah keep it fresh, Keep it fresh. Another thing that dating does while you are continuing to date after the relationship is that it helps you to practice your communication, or help the both of you to practice your communication, because dating creates an environment for open and honest communication, which helps to foster better understanding and resolving your conflicts. By you just sitting there and listening to what the other person has to say, the other person is sitting there and listening to what you have to say, and then both of you are able to come together and say, you know what, based off of how you were feeling, what I said, what I did, taking ownership, this is my solution. What are your thoughts on the solution? And so then you can actually get things done. You can get things resolved instead of having this conversation come up as a repeat offender within your relationship. You're really taking the time to, okay, I hear you. Okay, I see that didn't sit well with you. Okay, but then here's what I can do. Here's what I can do. Now, what is your part that you can actually do? Right? And so now you both are getting down to the brass tacks of how to make your relationship even better for the both of you. So now you're like, oh, I made a great choice in said partner, instead of feeling like you have been gypped, or this person was one way when you met them and now they're a different way now. And so that helps to cut down on a lot of that by you just being able to use your God-given gift of speech. Right? So communication practice is one of the things that going on dates continuously after you have said, I am saying yes to this man, I am saying yes to this woman. It is awesome. But guess what? We need to keep this thing alive. And that's one of the ways to do it. So before we move forward, now it's time to pay some bills, y'all. It's time to pay some bills. So my question to you is, have you got a chance to download the apps on all of your devices? Now, I've been saying this for a while, and I'm saying it on purpose because this is the way that you keep up with everything that is happening on Brownstone Worldwide, on KCCR, the Brownstone, and Brownstone Living, the magazine. Have you subscribed to the digital version of Brownstone Living, which is $5.99 per month for a full spread of beautiful information, right? So I have it. So right, we talked in there. It gives you a calendar of all the things that's happening in our community around the world. It gives you some spices, right? It gives you some recipes. It gives you some financial advice. It talks about advertising. Of course, it gives you articles on relationships. Ooh, ooh. It gives you articles on, again, finances. It gives you articles on how to be a better person, how to, listen, there's a lot of how-tos in there, but it's all coming from us. It's coming from people that look like us, because we are changing the narrative when it comes to media. We are telling our story our way. And that is a way that you can help to support this community by just subscribing. $5.99 per month, by subscribing to the magazine, downloading the apps so you can listen to all of the other personalities. Oh, and I forgot music. We got music on the block. We got music on the block. So all of this is from us, by people that look like us, by people that look like you. So go ahead and download the app. Go ahead and subscribe to Brownstone Living. It's going to make a difference not only for you, it's going to make a difference for us, so we can continue to bring even bigger and better personalities on here, so you can get an even deeper understanding of what's happening in our community. Now, with that being said, let's jump back into the sixth way that dating after you've entered into a relationship and how it helps you out. So what it does, it helps you to explore new opportunities. Yes, exploring new opportunities, because dating offers the chance to try new activities, hobbies, and adventures together, which keep the relationship exciting. Right? I just talked about dull and mundane. We don't want dull and mundane. We want to keep the excitement going. And that is one of the things that I hear from a lot of women because that's who I work with, and even some men that their partner is not willing to explore, not willing to try out different things. I also have experienced that as well in relationships, and it is boring, it's dull. So if I'm a person that likes to get out, whether it's going hiking, whether it's going listening to music or traveling, going to museums, and you're a person that likes to literally be a lump on the log, sitting there watching TV or sitting there playing video games or sitting there doing whatever, but not engaging in the relationship and not trying to do things together, it is so dry. It is so dry, it is so boring, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep the relationship exciting. You want your partner to want to be around you. You want to be around your partner. Exploring new things is a way to keep the connection even deeper, because now this is something that you didn't know about, it's something that your spouse didn't know about, and now you can figure it out together. You can experience this thing together. I remember I was when I was dating, and I like to go out to the pier. Something very simple, right? But I hadn't been in a long time. Now, for me, it wasn't necessarily a new experience, but I was inviting the person that I was dating out for a new experience, because being by the ocean wasn't necessarily his thing. And so it gave me an opportunity to show up in a little girl, childlike way, because I'm getting to go near the water and I'm all giddy and everything. But it also gave us something else to talk about. Were you scared of the water? Right? Do you know how to swim? Have you experienced it in a different way, like being out on a ship or being out on a boat? Do you like going fishing? Like, we were able to talk about so many other things, and that was all because of the power of exploring new ways of dating and just engaging with one another. That only happens when you're open to exploring new things. I mean, literally having new experiences, so the both of you feel like this is awesome. Again, I chose the right person. They're willing to be out here. Like, I have she's one of my sisters, and she loves traveling around and going for Chicago style stepping. And it's unfortunate that it seems like a lot of the men that she dated in the past either don't know how to step, or they're not willing to step, or they're jealous because that's her thing, meaning she travels to go and do that. That is absolutely her thing. And so there have been some conflict, because the man was not necessarily into that particular thing. And so she's trying to bring them in, and she's trying to engage them in, and hey, let's go and dance and whatever. I'm trying to bring you into my world. This is what I like to do. And they're just not open to it. And so she literally gets turned off. And not to say that they have to go to everything, because that's not what she's saying. She's like, let's go out and have some fun. Let me bring you into my world. This is what I like to do. This is what I like to do. So let me bring you into my world. And when they're not open to it, it really, I can physically see the sadness that comes upon her, because she's like, I'm trying to invite this dude into my world, and it's pretty much like on to the next. So you don't want your partner to feel like on to the next while you're still dating, because you're never going to get to the marriage stage. You're never going to get to the marriage stage. So explore those new experiences. It's going to make a difference. Another thing that continuing to date after you get into the relationship does is it helps the both of you to prioritize your quality time together. Again, we're all busy. We all got busy schedules, but dating reminds the both of you to prioritize yourself, to prioritize the relationship, to prioritize even planning the dates. Because one party, and then I hear this a lot in dating relationships or even in marriages, after a while, that one person that has a tendency to always be planning, the planner, gets tired of planning everything. They get tired of taking care of everything in order for y'all to make sure that y'all are staying connected. Like, so nothing is going to be 50% balance. It's just not. However, I need for you to jump in there. She needs for you to jump in there. He needs for you to jump in there, so y'all both can feel like you are contributing to the dating and what you like to do and how you want to bring this person and make them a part of your world even deeper, like even deeper. So you have to be willing to prioritize quality time with one another because, again, all of this stuff helps to strengthen your connection. All of it. Another thing that dating after you have entered into the relationship does is that it helps you to express yourself, which is exactly what I was talking about, right? It allows you to express your creativity, right? And then even your thoughtfulness in planning the special experiences. So the other one, prioritizing the quality time, yes, where both of you can take a percentage of planning the dates. But when it comes to your self-expression, this is a little bit different because these are on the special occasions, right? So like their birthday or y'all anniversary or something else, that some other date that you know is just super important to them. Now this is where you get to say, I've been listening to you all this time. I know what is going to make this feel special for you, to you. It could be just the two of you, something that, you know, the person that you're with is not a crowds person, and so you want to make them feel very special and that you have listened to them, and in the sense that, okay, I'm going to do something that is just so wonderful and amazing, but I'm just going to do it for us too, where we still have the experience, but because I know that my baby don't like to be around a whole lot of people, I'm not going to make her special day around a whole lot of people. So maybe, say for instance, your partner was talking about hot air balloon rides. Well, that's a very intimate date time for a special occasion that the two of you can just do because you're hitting the block of, I don't like to be around a lot of people for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You're also hitting the block that this is something that you wouldn't do every single day. It's for a special occasion. And then I heard you say that this is something that you wanted to try. So now you're hitting three of the boxes that could make it like, wow, you really heard me. I feel seen by you. I feel loved by you. Yeah, you're even higher on the spectrum of, man, I really love this person. They hear me when I speak. And why is that so important? Because by the time you get to work with me, you don't feel heard, you don't feel seen. And so we can avoid a lot of this if we take heed and do what we need to do in the beginning and not trying to do it later on when things have gone downhill and now you're trying to reconnect. Just stay connected. But we got to be intentional about staying connected. It's a very intentional thing to stay connected to your spouse, especially amidst all of the things that can keep us busy, that can distract us. Another thing that dating after you enter the relationship does is that you two can celebrate milestones, right? Together. Because regular dating provides occasions to celebrate milestones, right? Your anniversaries, other achievements like on the job, getting promotion or something like that. And then it also reinforced the commitment that the both of you have to one another by celebrating the milestones, by continuing to date after after you enter the relationship, and don't allow things to become mundane and humdrum. I'm not saying that it needs to be super exciting every single day because that's just not reality. But there has to be some excitement in there where you're looking forward to doing these things because on a daily, most of us thrive in a schedule. So I know when I wake up, I'm taking my shower and get myself together. Next, I'm eating my breakfast. Next, I'm sitting down to write in my journal. Next, I'm on my way to work. We got a schedule. If you have children, children are in there somewhere, right? So you have a schedule that a lot of us thrive on in order to get throughout the day. However, when it comes time to your relationship, I'm sure that there is still pretty much a schedule. We come home, we sit down, we eat at the table, we talk through some things, we may watch a show. So there's still a schedule there without you saying this is our schedule. But you still want to keep the spontaneity available and not shut it down because it's not something that you feel works for you. It will work for you. You just have to be willing to work it. You get me? You dig me? You feel me? Good. Good, 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 good. The final thing that dating after you enter the relationship does is that it continues to provide long-term happiness. Continuing to date after getting into a relationship can contribute to long-term happiness, satisfaction, and a lasting bond between the two of you. All of these reasons help to solidify the fact that dating after you enter into a relationship is uber important. It is not something that you have the opportunity to just put on the back burner, because that's when the distance comes in. And then at some point, even before you even make it to the marriage stage, you're like, who is this person? I don't know this person. And the question that I like to ask is, how much time, energy, and effort have you gotten into knowing this person? Now, there have been some times where they have been trying, but there has been so much opposition from the opposite person. That's probably not your person that you want to marry, because that opposition that you have right now will be continue to be the opposition later on. And guess what? I'm looking up because most of the time when we get into the relationship, specifically when we decide to jump the broom or to get married, guess what happens? That thing, that issue, that problem gets worse. And it is exasperated. It is within the marriage once we say I do. Because the person is like, she knew that I didn't like to do X, Y, and Z before. And now it becomes worse of him not wanting to do X, Y, and Z after I do. So we have to pay attention to all of these things. And if something is not sitting well with you before you get married, trust me, it's not going to sit well with you after you get married. So we have to continue to date after we get into the relationship, especially when the year, 2 years, 5 years have keep going on, and that's before you get married. So the next conversation that we're going to wrap this series up with is why it's important to continue dating after you get married. Right? So I love you guys. This is Love Restored. I am a host, Marshaun Olaniyan, and you are listening to Brownstone Worldwide. Download the apps on all of your smart devices. Subscribe to the magazine, Brownstone Living, so you can keep up with all of the personalities, keep up with what's going on in our community, and understand that we are telling it our way, because we want to shed positivity and light in our community, because so many people have been destroying it. And we're not all bad apples. There's a lot of great apples in our community, and we want to just continue to shed that light, right? If you want to get in contact with me outside of Love Restored, go to my website, www.marshauno.com. That's www.marshauno.com. There is a plethora of things on there, including articles, including a way to schedule to talk to me, so a coaching conversation. I have products on there. I have services on there. There's a way for you to take a deeper dive into who I am, who I service, and why I decided to not only start Love Restored, but my other business outside of Love Restored, which is the Love Restoration Club, because I'm the founder of Marshaun Olaniyan Consulting that has a few other areas underneath it. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next Love